Are you a ridiculously huge fan of the farmhouse style like me? Well, today I'm going to show you my 18 favorite fonts for all those rustic projects and where you can snag them for free. Hey guys, thanks for clicking on this video. If you're new here, I'm Fehlinger, and this channel is dedicated to helping you make your home your happiest place, and we'll do that through ideas like you'll see in this video, tutorials, and DIY techniques. So if that's something you're into, consider subscribing. Okay, let me hit you with a question. Did you know there are roughly 300,000 fonts out there? I have personally found it very difficult to narrow these down, but I've put in the work and came up with a nice long list of my 18 favorite farmhouse style fonts. And make sure you watch to the end because I'm also going to show you where you can get all of these for free and hook you up with a cheat sheet showing you how to get these into your computer. One other bonus, this video is full of them, I'm also going to share my list of farmhouse faves that are exclusive to Cricut Access, so you don't have to sort through the hundreds of fonts in that program and search them out yourself. So here's how I'm breaking this down just so it's easier to follow. We'll start with script and more elegant fonts and then move on to more block style, handwritten, typeface, and bold fonts. First, let's look at some script fonts. Bromello and Lemon Tuesday are my favorite brush script fonts, hands down. They're carefree and modern, and I think more feminine. I reach for these fonts a lot. They'd both look great on something like a makeup pouch. And as another example, I used Bromello on this pillow. It pairs really nicely with the typewriter style font, which we'll get into in a bit. And by the way, if you're interested in how to pair fonts, I have a separate video all about that, which I'll link in the cards and in the description if you want to check that out. Meanwhile, if you look closely at my most recent thumbnails here on YouTube, you'll see the Lemon Tuesday font showing up in the text on those images. Okay, the next batch of script fonts, we've got Vacations in Paradise, Blackberry Jam, Jenna Sue, Modesty, Countryside, and Tomatoes. These are all really pretty fonts with a sort of handwritten look about them too, and they work very universally, I think, for the farmhouse style look. They're not too fancy, but they provide some class to a design that might look too rough or coarse otherwise. And they pair really well with bolder typefaces for a nice contrast, and I'll be showing you some of those favorites too. Up next, we'll hit up some slim and slender handwritten styles. This font is called The Skinny, and it's a near perfect dupe of the Rae Dunn font. If you've never heard of Rae Dunn, she's a famous pottery designer, and stores cannot keep her stuff on the shelves. So my guess is you've seen her work even if you don't recognize the name. So if you're trying to mimic that, this is a great option. I have a separate video with a bunch of other great Rae Dunn font dupe ideas, which I'll also link here and down below. And then there's the font Dominique. This would pair really nicely with an embellished script font if you were trying to pair it for something like a wood sign. Okay, so now I want to share some of the more elegant options. Take a look at Easy November and Aiden. These are obviously some very elegant fonts. Flowy, curvy, just generally pretty. Either of these would be gorgeous on wedding invitations or to provide an over-the-top embellishment to a specific word on a piece of wall art. And now on to the rest. So now we're moving into more block style, typeface, or just more rigid fonts. Here's Wisdom. Sort of stands on its own in this batch of favorites since it's got a more italicized format, but you'll find this font in the farmhouse style a lot if you start watching for it. I've actually seen it a lot in laundry room decor, for example. Next we have Nashville, Hagen Caps Medium, Market Fresh, Deming. You see a theme here. These are all very bold or at least block style, and they're all fabulous fonts for the classic signs for your kitchen breakfast area, like you swiped it from a fruit stand or something. And now onto a typeface font that I'm loving, Old Newspaper Types. Oh, I love a good typewriter style. This is a super cool vintage looking font. Great for projects requiring lots of text, like for one of those signs that has all the house rules. This font would look fabulous. And here's that bonus for all my Cricut users. These are all my favorite farmhouse fonts within Cricut Access. Now, if you don't have a subscription to Access, I'll put a link down in the description so you can learn more about it. But basically, it's a subscription that gives you access to hundreds of fonts and images that are exclusive to Cricut that you can use in your projects. Okay, I love Babette, It's very close to Bromello, and I used this font on this pillow. Rusty, which is very close to old newspaper types, and I used Rusty for this wood sign. I've got more on that project in yet another video, which of course I'll link here and down below. And then we have Straight and Simple. This is another really close Ray Dunn dupe. Up next we have Mahogany Script, and finally Emmeline. Okay, so where can you get all of these for yourself? Well, aside from the Cricut fonts that I just mentioned, all of these fonts are free for you to download. Now, I found most of them at Dafont.com. The only exceptions were the Aiden script, which I found at freedesignresources.net, and then Wisdom and Deming, both of which I found through Lost Type Co-op. And lastly, Hagenkapp's Medium I got on fontfabric.com. And a really important side note, when you go to download fonts from the web, make sure you read the licensing information, because even though all of the fonts I shared in this video are free for personal use, some fonts have certain stipulations, so just make sure you know what those are. In the meantime, whether you're going to be installing these fonts on a PC or a Mac, I've put together a printable cheat sheet of instructions on how to actually get these fonts into your machine and how to do it on either of those systems, and the link to grab that is down in the description. So I hope that gives you some inspiration for your next project. And a question for you: which of the fonts that I showed you is your favorite? Or better yet, what's your go-to font for your projects? Write it down in the comments so we can all be inspired. Meanwhile, if you liked this video, hit that like button, share this with a fellow creator friend who could use the inspiration, and also subscribe so you don't miss any new content. I do post a new video every single Thursday, but you can ring the bell to get notified the second that a new video goes up. And if you geek out over all things DIY like I do, then I'd love to have you join the nearly 1,000 other people that are part of my creator community, where I share tips and tidbits that are exclusive to that group, and there's a link in the description if you want to check that out. Now, that's actually a great way to get in touch with me, but I'm on all the social platforms, and I've linked those pages below if you want to hit me up in between videos. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Keep creating your happy place, and I'll see you next Thursday. That's on, right? Yeah, okay. Some slim and slender handwritten styles. There are roughly, and on this channel, no. Up next, we'll hit up some for all my Cricut uners. That bonus for all my Cricut below as well, and yeah, that is a tongue twister.